This isn't something I had planned. I was actually messing around in my free time today. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to make some weird shapes. And I ended up making swords and all sorts of strange stuff. And let's go through each creation. Because, like I said, even if you don't know much about Blender, you're actually equipped with a hell of a lot of tools for free, considering. And it's absolutely mind-blowing the results you can get. So just by using, like, not like the wall behind me, I've not used any textures whatsoever except for this shield at the back here. But you can make everything from the pummel to the handle to the little circles, the eyelets, whatever, the hand guard, and then the blade, and then tip it off at the end there. Same with a spear. This one's quite long. I didn't really look any up. I didn't look at any references whatsoever, so if my spear's not perfect or any weapons here, it's not meant to be identical to real life, but let's just scale that down for viewing's sakes. This one I was particularly proud of. There's a lot of geometry in this, and it wasn't very straightforward to make, but I just eyeballed it and went from there. There you've got a basic shield. Now let's bring it forward and take a good look. You can make all the little nubs and bumps and little screws and shit. You can see it's meant to have like a wooden back and steel front of some sort. I don't know. It's up to you to decide on that one. I tried to make a large shield here. I wanted to make one a bit like a Spartan shield, but I didn't know how to get the curvature, so I ended up making something like this instead. Nice and simple. And then behind us, this is where things get interesting. Obviously, the wall, I've done a brick tutorial. It's just basic, you know. I was sitting there for a few minutes, you know, moving everything around, you know, making it look like, oh, there's been a little bit of an accident there. And then I'm pretty pleased with these chains. Again, I just made them myself. I didn't actually look at any guides, believe it or not. And you'll find that all of this is incredibly easy to make with the tools that are already here at your disposal. Because a lot of the time, you have to download things off of like Polyhaven models and textures, and you can actually make them just like this. So what we're going to do is just select absolutely everything there and move it over out of our workspace. So I'm going to show you how to make a chain or a chain link, simple chain link. So we're going to go to Mesh and Torus. We have what looks like a donut. So then we're going to scale it, put it towards us, and we're going to make it smaller, and then scale it in the Z-axis just a tiny bit to form a chain link like this. Then you're going to right click and shade smooth, so you've got that nice round finish. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate it, so holding Shift and D, we're going to rotate it, and then we're going to G and Z up, and then we're going to go into wireframe so you can see where it's about to meet the next one, if that makes sense. There we go, looking for this little spot here, wait for them to contact, and there we go. And if we come out of wireframe, it almost looks like it's resting. Gravity's doing its job there. And then what we're going to do is, if we want some texture without downloading any or anything, we're going to click New, and we're going to go to glass. No, we're not. No, we're not. We don't want glass. Or maybe we do. I don't know. Let's see. I went for glossy last time, I believe, and then turn the roughness all the way down until about there. Maybe a bit higher. Then we're just going to rename that as metal. And then we're going to click our next one and find metal and do the same. Or here's one I made earlier. Steel. That's what the sword's made out of, so it's slightly ever so different. And then what we're going to do is going to select these two. We're going to duplicate them, move them up, and then again, just zoom in so you can just get it to rest. I think that's actually there. And then here you go. And obviously from here on, you can just keep going until your heart's content, really. Let's link that up. There we go. And obviously what you can do is you can start rotating it in the different axes. So like, let's do R and Y. So you can even bring it forward a bit. And then just move it around to the left. Move it into the correct position. And then this, we can rotate it in the Z. So you can give it some form of life there. So if it's hanging or swinging, you can sort of edit those. So yeah, that's the chain tutorial. And then obviously what you want to do is, once you're happy with it and you want to attach it to something, you will Control and J, which is join. And then here we are. Every time you select it, it's become a complete object. And then if you wish from there, you can duplicate. Go to the left here. And right now I'm pressing G and just moving my mouse around. Now bear in mind, unless you have the direction selected, you can strike disaster. So as you can see right here, it's ideal. You know, press G, get it up there. Right, now let's move the camera, I don't know, to here, so. And now we're going to press G. And we think it's like at a decent angle. It can be like miles away. Like that. So here, we don't have much to worry about. Just move it up a tad. And then rotate the whole thing. There you have it. And same again. Control J. Join. Pretty decent, I think. Now, swords is another one that is quite appealing. So let's get rid of that. Let's start off at the front here. And we're just going to start off with a cube mesh. We're going to scale it up for about as long as we want. Excuse me. Then we're going to go top view, and then there we go. That's how thin you want your plane to be, or anything. You know, you can have it as thick as you want, as thin as you want. It's entirely up to you. It's your playground, basically. Right, we're going to tab into edit mode now with the object selected, and we're going to Control and R and create a vertex there, and we're going to create one there, so it'll look like this. Now we're going to press 2 and select both of these vertices. Now we're going to go front view. Let's zoom out a bit. And now we're going to G and Z up. And you can make it as sharp as you want and as long as you want. There we go. Now you can bring these out, but sometimes you can mess it up. So I'm just going to make it easy for this one. G, X. Oh yeah, what am I doing? G, X. So that there. No, again, I've done what I said I shouldn't have done. Right, we're just going to press G here and bring it out ever so slightly there. And do the same with this side, forward, front. And then you've kind of got a nice little edge going on there. Now I'm going to select this. G, X. A little sharp edge there. What you can do is lower down. I'm just going to create another vertex around here. I'm going to press 1, go into wireframe mode, select all of the vertices at the bottom only. And then we're just going to press S and make it there. So now when it feeds into the pummel, else. It should look fine. Now these, we can tackle this simply by pressing 2 again and selecting that one and that one. You're going to hit Control and B, which is going to give it a bevel. So let's just do that there. Same with this one. So now you've kind of rounded off those edges a bit. Same with these. Let's bevel this out a bit. Do the same. This side, you can do it all at the same time by holding Shift. Control B. There we go. It kind of polishes it off a bit more. Right, so I feel that that's probably scaled a bit too big, so let's get it here. Right, go to front view. Move that up. Now, here's where we can create the texture if you want, just so you can get a rough idea of what you're looking at. I'm going to go in gloss, and then colour. Let's make it grey. So we'll come into the roughness down a bit. Give yourself a nice shiny sword there. Now here, you can either create a cube or a cylinder. Let's rotate this correctly here. So the cylinder, let's just shade that smooth. Make it roughly the size you want it to be for the guard. And then we're going to bring it out a bit to here, making sure that the blade is dead central, like on the top view. Okay, that's great. Now, here's where things can get interesting. So select your object, go into edit mode, and then Control R and create some vertices here. I like a couple to play with just in case. Now we're going to press 1 and select, just for demo's sakes, go back into wireframe. Because wireframe, when you've got it like this, you're not selecting the other side, so let's go the other side here. See, these aren't selected. This is why we go into wireframe and shift select both sides. Now you can move these, you can shift S and make it smaller, or what you can do is select this side and narrow it down a bit, G to scale it outwards, move it around, and then R to rotate it in the direction you want it to go. So that'll do. And then something like that is what you're looking for. Same with this side. You can mirror the object as well to make things like this a lot easier for you to manage. At the moment, I actually can't remember how to do it, so I'm going to have to research that myself. So it's going to be a bit odd, but who cares? Right, so now we're going to choose the texture we made earlier. So let's go for this one. Well, I'll tell you what that'll do. That's the texture wood we added earlier. So yeah, we'll have that for now. And get rid of the cube. You can do the same with the cube, obviously. Right now, we're going to make another cylinder, but we're going to keep it as it is. Just make it smaller. Move it towards your object of choice. Make it longer. Just make it small enough so it's not having any mishaps up there. Right, just want it a little bit thinner. There we go. You're forever messing with the scaling of the handle here because you're like, oh wow, my blade's that big. I don't need something that's like, you know, that small. And then just place it in here. Again, nothing's overlapping as far as I can tell. Yeah, okay, that's good. Right, now go to the front view here. Tab into edit mode when you've got the handle selected. Now we're going to make a few vertices here. I'm going to make 3. Tab into wide mode and then back out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to press S and scale it in a bit. Now, obviously, you can do whatever design you like, but we're just going to do this because I'm just explaining how to do it the easiest way possible. And now for your handle, we can go for, I don't know, let's choose something like that. Is that tolerable? No, let's make a new one. Let's make a new one. Let's make a brown, light brown handle. About, yeah, I'd say that'd do. And now you can add some Taurus rings. Bring it up. Shade smooth. Gonna do this in wireframe so I can get it dead central. Make it small. Small enough so it doesn't look like it would hinder the ability to use the sword. Okay. Give it a texture. Stone. That's not going to work. Let's give it a string texture, even though it looks nothing like string. It's more like bronze. And then for the pummel, let's make a cylinder. Go into the right side view. Rotate that motherfucker. And scale it down to the size you'd like it to be. Size it up. Get a good look. Does that look too big? Let's make it smaller. Tiny bit bigger. Yep, that though. Alright, sweet. Now we've already shaded that smooth. So now what we can do is add steel again. You've got yourself a nice shiny pummel there. Now with the pummel selected, we're going to tab into edit mode, press 3 on the keyboard and select a face. And we're going to press I. And you can open or close, make things smaller. So just for reference sakes, we're going to do it about that big. And now we're going to go slowly further around the side here so we can get a good look at the whole thing from the side view. And then press E to extrude. You can either bring it in or out. That looks pretty cool. So for this one, we're just going to bring it out a bit. I'm going to do the same here. Bring it out a bit. Down there. And then select this side. Extrude inwards a bit. So here. So there you go, you can make things look quite unique with this. You get some weird outcomes as well. But yeah, I don't think that looks too bad. You can change the material to something else, the same metal as our chain that we made earlier. You can add more of these if you want, so let's go to front view, duplicate that, put that there. You can't really make any mistakes. If you're not happy with something, you just delete it before you make it permanent. Scale that down a tad. There we go. Did it look ugly if we put one there as well? No, not really. Looks alright. So yeah, there you have it. There's how you make the sword. It's pretty straightforward. Obviously, last thing you'd want to do is select all. We're not going to press all because it will select everything else over there, because we don't want this to become a part of an object or them to attach to each other there. So we're just going to drag the whole thing, or just if you want to be safe, if you've got something else that's not in clicking view or anything, go into wireframe, set front, and then just highlight the whole thing, Control J. And now your sword has become a singular object to do what you will with. And then obviously, if you want, you can duplicate and make more. going at a time. So I will show you another time how to make a shield. I've shown you how to make the chains and everything. As you can see here, these are all still singular because I might make something out of this later, I'm not sure. But obviously what I did is I rotated this around to make it look like it's just resting on the fallen wall here. And I've indented that into the wood, so if I bring it out, it's not broken or anything, but you just sink it into the wood a bit so it looks like it's actually part of the object itself. Like I said earlier, you can just keep going with the chain. Let's get a front view. Let's make it look like it's dragging to the right a bit. It's pretty decent, isn't it? And then once you're happy with that, select all what you need to, and then Control J, and now it's become one thing. So again, what we can do is now we can play around with this, get into a decent position here. There we go. Obviously, it wouldn't look like that if you wanted to create a scene that, you know, that would have like real gravity in or something, you know. But there we go. And same with the wall here. None of it's attached. It's all singular, and like I said, I've rotated things around to make it look like things have displaced over time. It looks authentic. Obviously, if we go into the shading menu here, you can see all the options of what's going on here, and you can mess around with the scale and everything, and obviously you can make it look unique. So let's just set that back to how it was originally. So if you don't want the same pattern repeating twice, just rotate the brick. So that's rotated, them two are the same, so I'm going to rotate that top one once, rotate that one. So you can kind of conceal everything like that by adding more or less, or covering it with something completely different. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I hope you've learned a thing or two. But as I said, I wasn't planning this video at all. I was actually sitting here about half an hour ago, and I just let my mind go, and then this is what I worked on. So you have a surprise video for today, which I was not planning whatsoever. So yeah, enjoy, and I hope what I've said makes sense, and yeah, we'll go from there. Any questions, feel free to ask, or private message me, or whatever. Just, yeah, have fun, and if there's anything that you've created, I would really like to see it. So if you've made something, either tag me in it, or send it to me, and I'll take a look for you. And if you want help with any projects or anything, I'll be happy to give you my 2 cents. Until next time, take care.